What are some of the principles that you're looking at for good franchises for your clients? And what are some of the sort of red flags that you would say, nah, you probably want to stay away from that one because of this?
Well, there's a lot of reasons to stay away from franchises. And some of them are because of what the individual wants.
Right.
So let's say the individual says, I want to keep my job. Well, then 75% of the franchises are already out the window because they require full-time commitment, right?
Sure.
So a lot of times as we go through the process, it's very easy to say, okay, here's the financial box, here's the skill set box, here's the time, and we very quickly are able to narrow it down. But from the franchisor side, sure, there's some franchise systems that I look at, I'm like, they have a great story. There's some franchise systems that have a wonderful franchise sales department. I mean, they're really good at selling franchises.
Yeah.
But when you look at their numbers in their FDD, they're not that impressive. I mean, they have three-year success rates of 50%.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, only 50% of your franchisees survive 3 years. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
But they have good sales departments, so they manage to bring people in as fast as they lose them, right? There's other franchise systems out there that bring very few franchisees in, but they also lose very few franchisees. In some cases, there's franchise systems that literally have no track record, but they're really interesting because the guy that founded them founded the exact same business previously, built a very successful franchise, and is using the same backbone system to run the new franchise. So you're looking at it and say, well, guy, it's the same system, the same guy, but he's doing it again better this time.
Right.
Even though he doesn't have any franchisees, maybe that's something worth considering. It's higher risk, but it's something real. It's hard. It is. And then after a number of years, decades, you start to kind of get a sense of who's who out in the world of franchising. And, the question I always ask is, would I feel comfortable, putting a family member in there?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, then I'm not introducing it to anybody.
Yeah. Fair enough. But it also helps to have a long, you've been doing this for a long time, right? And I think, and I do appreciate the candor, because I think there's always one thing that I do get worried about in this space is that people, obviously everybody wins and it's if there's a successful match, but if it's not a successful match and all that, it's mostly the person who's trying to get that business up and going is the one who loses, and those are the people listening to this show. So I do appreciate the candor. Tell us a little bit about your book, if you would, and then maybe like how we can get people can get a hold of you if they're interested in talking.
Yeah, my book is called The Educated Franchisee. I don't think we talked about this at the beginning, but I spent most of the 1990s doing international franchise development for Popeyes, Chicken and Biscuits, Church's Chicken, Seattle's Best Coffee, and Cinnabon. I put them in about 30 countries back in the 1990s. And then from 2000 to 2002, I worked for a small franchise system that I thought I could fix. And I was wrong. And what I learned was that there's a real difference between good franchise systems and good franchise systems that are not so great. And that's how I got into franchise coaching. And then I started working with these people, and they're like, he said, have you ever written this stuff down? I was like, no, I haven't written anything down like that. And they're like, well, you need to. And one guy said to me that, and I said, I don't like to write that much. His name was Mike Culver, and he says, I love to write. He says, I used to be an English teacher. Yeah. He says, why don't you just record it and I'll write it? He says, because it's been so invaluable to me, I would love to be on this project with you. And so Mike and I, over the course of 3 years, wrote the book. I would record everything, and then he'd write it, and I'd hate what he wrote. And we created a book that's now in its third edition, which is actually right here. That has really been, we sold over 10,000 copies of the book. It's been a best-selling book in the world of franchising for years. And it is completely dedicated to individuals who want to explore franchising as a franchisee. If you want to build your own franchise, if you want to become a franchisor, it's not the book for you. It's a book that's designed to help you think through, should I be a franchisee? If so, how do you analyze a franchise? And that's where this book originally, the nexus of the book, you might say. It's now in its third edition, and like I say, continues to sell very well. And the wonderful thing about it is I literally get emails from people in other parts of the world that say, I read your book and it changed my life.
Yeah.
That makes you feel good. It makes you feel really good. But anyhow, if they want to get hold of me, I'm really easy. The name's Rick Bizio.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
And if you can go to educatedfranchisee.com, you can Google Rick Bizio franchise. My website coaching website is afranchisecoach.com. Or just send me an email at rbizio, that's RBISIO, at educatedfranchisee.com. And I'm probably one of the easiest people in the world to find.
Great.
But one thing I promise, if anybody does reach out, and Buck, I mean, these are special people to you. These are family members to you. I will treat them the same way. I will be completely honest. If it's not right for them, I will tell them that. But more importantly, I'll make sure they are 100% educated prior to making a decision.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Rick Bizio, everyone, thanks so much for being on the show. Love to have you on again. And if I end up going through this, maybe we'll come back and talk about it. We could have some fun at the release.
We'll have some fun with it. Then we can report
right.
back to the group.
We'll be right back.